pretty amazing, eh? Pretty incredible. I mean, it's pretty nice having a true Canadian hero. And I think as Canadians, we really don't do a great job at this. We really don't promote our heroes as much as we should. So I'm going to talk to Mark a little bit and ask him a few questions. And I think I can.
No, I will not grow back that mustache. You know that's always the first question.
First question
I'm not Mexican.
Was it November and you were doing an early November?
I'll do November, yeah.
But I think I can call you a friend, can I?
Well, we'll see.
So one of the things that's kind of cool is Mark and I go back about 15 years. And before I sort of ask you a few questions, I want to just relay an amazing story. The first time I met Mark was I was working with Xerox, and there was a big track event down at Skydome. And we invited, through one of the people who worked with me, a guy by the name of Tony Sharp, who had won the bronze in the LA Games, worked for Xerox, and we said, can we go out and get some of the best track and field people? And he said, let me see what we can do. So my first experience is meeting Mark in a corporate box with a bunch of customers and meeting him there. And after that event, it was kind of interesting. My daughter at the time was 10 years old, and she was really into hurdles. And so I actually said, you know, Mark, my daughter's into hurdles, and you know, it's not really the serious stuff. I mean, it's not Olympic time for her at that point in time, but would you come and give her a few pointers? And he said, absolutely. And what we did is it was up in the Lawrence Park area, actually at Lawrence Park School. But I remember my daughter coming out, and she had her tracksuit on and everything, and Mark came out and started walking through a routine. How do you get ready? How do you prepare? How should you go over the hurdles? And the whole time, I caught it all on video, which was pretty cool. The whole time, I'm kind of going to my daughter, you know who he is, right? He's the best in the world. And you know,
she didn't care.
No, she's kind of going.
Just show me what to do.
Yeah,
I don't care who you are.
Let's get moving on this thing, right? And so, you know, pretty cool, but we got it all in video. And I asked Mark, and Mark actually, you know, came back 3 or 4 times and helped her. And what's kind of cool to this story, and I'm not saying it was all Mark, but he probably made a little bit of a difference on this one, is 5 years later in the city championships, my daughter won the gold in the Toronto City Championships in the hurdles.
It was all me.
Yeah, she had a great coach. So, you know, I'm gonna ask you a few questions today, and you know, obviously from a mentoring perspective, but from a coaching perspective, and you know, some of the things that you've gone through, and you know, something that people always ask you is, you know, what are the 3 most important elements for really achieving success? What does it take to achieve success?
I have no idea. I just winged it.
I'll go get my daughter and bring her in. Yeah.
She knows better than I do. Well, thank you for having me. It's great to be here. First of all, I'm not Marnie. She's much bigger than I am, as you probably remember from last year, for those of you who are here. It's funny, I come here, I had no idea what to expect. I had no idea we were talking about mentorship. I didn't know what the whole evening was about. But the most important thing in my career, I think, was coaching. It's funny, knowing this guy for so long, it used to be really easy to answer a question like that. But because Tim is such a perfectionist, because of his, he likes acronyms, you know, his touch, inspire, move. He's actually touched, inspired, and moved me to think a little bit more about, you know, getting questions, answering questions, rather than just saying, you know, I do this, this, and this. Not a big deal. I used to say, you know, because he made up an acronym, and you know, you might guess that I'm a little competitive, just a touch. So I went home and was like, well, I got to make up one too. Can't have all the glory. So I made one up, and it was pace, and I don't mean you have just to run fast to get there. It was passion, action, coaching without excuses. But that was pretty general. I mean, everybody knows that. You guys all know that already. So I thought it was pretty cool. Those are my main. I used that for a long time. And because of Tim, I thought, you know, I got to dig deeper. Like, he said, what are the main things that make you successful? So I thought, you know, all athletes have that. All successful people have that. I mean, that's sort of like the fundamentals of success. But what's the difference between, to me, I thought, first of all, I have to define what success is. Because most people would agree, I think, that going to Olympics would be successful. But what's the difference between going to the Olympics and winning the Olympics? Like, there's a different level of success there. So I dug a little bit deeper. I started to do something I've never done in my whole life. Picked up a book and read. As an athlete, I didn't get, you know.
And he likes Dr. Seuss like I do. So it's, you know,
that's about all I've read in my life.
Those count, right?
Yeah, but they do. They don't?
Of course they do.
As a matter of fact, I mean, I only remember, seriously, I'm not an academic at all, as you might imagine. I only remember reading one book in my entire high school career. It was The Hobbit in grade 9. I had to do a book report. I don't even remember what it's about. I don't think I picked up.
It's about a hobbit.
Yeah. Bilbo Baggins, that's all I remember.
Yeah.
But I never, you know, really read until I met Tim, and he gave me his book, so I had no choice because,
yeah.
You know, he's going to ask me questions. He's going to ask you questions.
Brush up on that.
I hope you guys have read it, and you're going to read G3. G3 was a really good book too. So I was never really, you know, into studying or reading or anything like that. I like to move. I have no patience. I can't sit down for 5 minutes and read a book. So I did a little more digging, and you go through all the great motivators, inspirators, coaches from Napoleon Hill all the way up to the great Tim Cork. And
nice to put me with Mr. Think and Grow Rich. That's
there you
good.
go. So I started to read. I was thank you. I thank you for that. So I said I dug a little deeper, and I think the real difference, because there's a huge difference between actually just going to the Olympics and winning. I tried enough times, as you heard from the video, fourth. Like, I couldn't get on the podium if you paid me. But I think the real difference to me was a choice. And there are certain choices. I made a lot of bad choices, obviously, but a lot of choices in my life that made a difference between being a good athlete and being the best athlete. And one of the main choices, like I said, was getting a coach, because most of my career, I was self-coached. I thought I knew it all. And especially being here in Canada, we didn't really have a lot of successful track and field athletes. So we didn't have a lot of successful track and field coaches. So what I did was to choose to go to different routes, go down to the States, go on scholarship, and then eventually go to Britain, where you heard I trained with Colin Jackson, who was the best hurler in the world, had the best coach in the world. And so the choices I made were really the difference between your regular, having, like I said, all athletes have passion. They all, have to actually go out there and do it, take some kind of action. And but I didn't have the coaching. So that was one of the main things. And also, on top of that is desire. I think there's a little bit of a difference between passion, which everybody has to be successful, and desire, because a lot of people have dreams, they have goals, but they don't actually follow through. And when they come up against obstacles, hurdles, excuse the pun, it deters them, it stops them, and it's the desire to go through no matter what. I've been injured. It took me 16 years of training to get to Barcelona. I said I was injured numerous times. I've been through surgeries. I failed most of my career, as most athletes do. So it's really a matter of how much desire do you really have. And I think that is one of the key factors. So you make the choices, and it's your burning desire to actually do better than everybody else, no matter what's happening in your life. And the final thing is perseverance. 16 years. That says it all right there.